Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all are doing good. Yes. So now we are in this lecture, we are going to start with this company law now. Yes, we were done with your economic laws, right? And the allied laws also. And now we are going to start with this company law. Okay, the remaining part, the thing which people feel it's difficult, that portion we are already done with. Now we are just left with the company law. Okay, so 50% syllabus done, 50% syllabus we are going to complete now. Okay, now let's have a glance at the index and the book, etc. Let's see how are we going to study this. Yes, first of all, this is volume 1, that is your company law book, right? Then comes your index, the main index. Before I go to the main index, let me tell you, the features of the book has been given same. Just if you have seen the allied laws book, it contains everything, all the question answers from the past exam questions, mock, RTPs, whatever you have in your study material, then you have in your practice manual, etc. We have covered up everything here. Okay, and one different thing which I would like to tell here is, yes, can you see this? I've written a statement here. Bare Act language is used at some places in company law, at some places, because see, I'll tell you one thing which I have been telling in the during allied law lectures also, and in the introduction also I have told that allied law questions are normally like it's like 9 out of 10 times the allied law questions or the economic law questions are direct questions. Okay, they can twist usually in company law, and this has been their past trend, that 9 out of 10 times they have twisted only in company law, right? So in some sections where the content given by your ICEI, if it is very short, then in those places I have taken the Bare Act language from the Bare law, so that you come to know about the provisions, right? Okay, and one thing I understood while putting the Bare law language here in the books is that we treat that Bare law is, it's very difficult to understand, it's raw, but it's not like that. If you understand Bare law, if you just read it, you will definitely understand the Bare law. It's really so simple to understand, especially when even during my CA finals, I studied a few sections from the Bare Act directly. For direct taxes I studied, okay? So those sections are still here. I can still very well recollect that it was there on the right hand side, and so it they had written it is linked to so and so section, etc. So now the Bare Act, the thinking that we have that the Bare Act it's so fat, so it's very difficult, it's not like that. Bare Act gives you a very good understanding, very clear understanding. And so where the places in our book, basically for our CA finals, the places where the ICI couldn't give us good good explanation or maybe good content, etc., there we have incorporated the Bare law language, which will even help you to write the answers in the exam if any question is asked from that particular section, right? Okay, then similarly we have some case laws covered here. We have the MCQ, subjective question answers as usual. Okay, then yes, we have written the total question and answers also. Can you see here? It's like 381 subjective questions we have, and 527 MCQs we have in the entire company law here. Okay, old syllabus students, company law, you would have a confusion that old syllabus, for old syllabus I am telling, okay, that IBC is included here or IBC is included there. So we have taken up IBC totally separately, right? Because for old syllabus it is 60 plus 10 plus 30. 60 is company law, 10 is IBC, and 30 is allied laws. Fine. Then what is the next thing that we have here? Yes, whenever you get time, like obviously after today's lecture only, whenever you get time, just go through this page which I have written here, how to study from this book. Okay, this is, see whenever any student calls me up, okay, and he asks me, ma'am, please give me some tips for law, please guide me, how should I go about law, etc. What answer I give to a particular student, I have put those things in statement form in this particular book, so that I can reach to each and every student who is purchasing this particular book, right? So you need not even call me and ask me, ma'am, give me any tips. You can just go to this particular page and you can read it, right? So whatever I usually communicate to any student on phone, this time I have put those things in the book itself. Fine. And yes, I have written here in the last, can you see here I have written stay connected. See, whenever you're having this particular book, I have written a mobile number here, which is my phone number. You just have to message your name, your place, maybe the city or something, and that you wish to receive the updates. So whenever if I want to update you about anything in the book, or any amendment or any updates if I want to give to you, then it becomes very simple for me to give that particular update to you, right? So that's why we have come up with this stay connected concept. Okay, and now the next thing, the main thing that is coming up here is the content. Okay, that is the index. Can you see here, there are in all we have, effectively we have 16 chapters. Okay, you can see 18 here, but effectively we have 16 chapters. 17th one is a chapter which contains all the formats. Example, format of an ordinary resolution, format of a special resolution, format of board meeting notice, etc, etc. All those formats are going to be there in the 17th one. And 18th one is not a chapter, it is just having some important definitions and e-forms. Yes, this time we have included the definitions also. Obviously it is not possible to include all the definitions because we have so many definitions, but yes, the definitions in which we have amendments now, and few definitions which are required to understand the content, we have included those definitions. Okay, and we have the e-forms also, like when we will study about the e-governance, that is, you know, uploading any particular form on the MCA website, which form is used for what particular purpose, that we have also included here, right? Okay, so in all we effectively we have 16 chapters here. New syllabus students, you don't have chapter number 14, 15 and 16. Okay, 14 is okay, that's only of 2 pages, you can just ignore it. But yes, 15 and 16 chapter is not there for the new syllabus students. Okay, why is it not there in the new syllabus? Because these 2 chapters have been shifted to CA intermediate, that is IPCC, what you used to call. Okay, these 2 chapters have been shifted to intermediate law, and that's why the new syllabus does not have these 2 chapters. But yes, old syllabus students, you have these 2 chapters, and for old syllabus students, I will be providing you the lectures on that, right? Okay, apart from that, till chapter number 13, everything is common for both old syllabus and the new syllabus, including the content. Okay, whatever content is there in these particular chapters are same for old syllabus and new syllabus. And that's why, since the new syllabus students do not have that much of resources for question and answers, you can solve the question and answers from the old syllabus students practice manual also. You need not purchase it, we have already included those questions in the book. Okay, so whatever questions we are going to do from chapter number 1 to chapter number 13 is common for both old syllabus as well as new syllabus, right? Okay, so okay, now here also the weightage of the chapters. What is the weightage of the chapters? Now ICI had, till some time ICI had a prescribed, you know, this thing, weightage, that this chapter normally comes for so many marks, this chapter normally comes for so many marks. But the trend has been totally shaken since the last 3 to 4 attempts. What they are doing is they are trying to ask questions from those chapters which we tend to leave. They are trying to ask questions from those chapters which did not have material importance, you know, maybe 3 to 4 attempts before, right? Say for example, if there is a chapter called as NCLT, okay, NCLT was a newly introduced thing after the replacement of the company law board, right? So initially it did not have any weightage, it was 0 to 4 marks barely. Okay, but now in a particular attempt, the chapter had a weightage of approximately 12 marks, right? Same happened with inquiry and inspection. Inquiry and inspection has a normal weightage of 4 to 6 maximum. Okay, in the last attempt it came for 12 marks. Okay, so we cannot, you know, we cannot trust the ICI in this regard, that which chapter is going to have what weightage, and that is fair also. Why is it fair? Because, you know, if they give you everything in writing, that okay, 10 marks is going to come from this chapter, 10 marks from this chapter, you are going to focus only on that. But the main motive is not that. The main motive is to get information about the entire company law that we are having in our syllabus, right? So now we have to make a point that we give equal weightage to each and every chapter. Okay, so that whatever is asked in the exam by the ICAR, we are very much comfortable in answering that particular thing, right? And the only key, the only, the only one method, one magical method to get an exemption in law is, which we have derived till now, is give equal importance to company law and give equal importance to allied laws or the economic laws, whatever you're having. Okay, if you think that no, I'll manage company law well and I'll leave allied laws, or vice versa, that doesn't work. Okay, if suppose which normally happens is if they twist anything in the company law but allied laws is a very smooth paper, then you tend to build confidence while writing the paper itself. Otherwise, imagine about those people who did not even study allied law well and the company law paper is tricky. The entire confidence goes on the moment, right? So what we have to do is we have to place equal focus on each and every chapter. Fine, each and every chapter of company law and each and every chapter of allied economic laws, right? Okay, so you can see here directors. Yes, I have written the number of pages also, because we study after seeing the pages only. I have written the number. Can you see here? Yes, can you see the number of pages written here? Yes. So every chapter we have, can you see there are hardly 4 to 5 chapters out of total 16 chapters which are big. Big means they are around 30 pages, right? So you can see here directors is one, the managerial personnel is another one, then board meetings. Till here the first 3 chapters are big. Then after that you'll see this winding up coming up here. Okay, then you'll see this miscellaneous provisions. So only these 5 chapters are big. All the other chapters are really very small and very simple, right? And in all the chapters we are going to have these question and answers, which we are going to solve as we have been doing in this allied and economic laws, right? Okay, so can we start with the first chapter now? The first chapter that we are going to go to the extent possible, we are going to go as per the sequence only. If at all there is any if suppose if we feel that there is no connection between this and this chapter and the other chapter is a small chapter and we are tired of doing all the big chapters, then in between we can take up any small chapters. Okay, so but as of now, for the moment, let's start up with the directors chapter. The first chapter, that is, the name of the chapter is appointment and qualification of directors. Appointment and qualification of directors. Fine, come to page number 1.1 everyone. Yes, just like in the allied law books, here also we have got the list of abbreviations. Okay, normally during the lecture we don't need the abbreviation list because we discuss in the class itself. But if any of your friend or anyone, if that person is referring only the book, then that person might need this abbreviations list. Fine. Okay, so now let's start with this appointment and qualification of directors. Now this starts from section 149 and it goes up to section 172. 149 to 172. Okay, and this is of which act? This is of Companies Act 2013. Okay, now listen, as of now almost all the chapters that we are going to do is going to have the provisions of Companies Act 2013, except for one full chapter, that is producer company. We have a chapter called as producer company, which has the provisions of Companies Act 1956, because those producer company provisions are not yet incorporated in the Companies Act 2013. Apart from that, if anywhere I am writing just say for example section 149 of the act, their act means Companies Act 2013. And if in between if I want to give you any reference of the old Companies Act, that is Companies Act 1956, then I have already specified in the book that this section is of Companies Act 1956. Otherwise, by default, if I am writing anywhere so and so section of so and so act, that means it is Companies Act 2013. Fine. Okay, now let's start with the chapters. Important chapter, considering the weightage that has been given by the ICAI in the past. Also considering the the concepts that we are going to learn in this chapter is not miscellaneous. You remember, like in allied laws, it used to happen that initially we used to study the provisions, and at the end, whenever we used to come to the end of the chapter, we used to find all the miscellaneous provisions or repeated sections, etc. That is not going to happen in this directors chapter. All the sections are equally important. Fine. Okay, now let's start with this directors now. Appointment and qualification of directors. Okay, section 149 to section 172. Okay, first of all, we have taken up some important terms here. Okay, so let's see a few important terms which we need to, understand before we get into this particular chapter. Okay, the first term, everyone here on the board. Okay, which chapter are we doing? We are doing appointment and qualification of directors. Acha, if we are doing appointment and qualification of directors, can I say we are going to learn something more about the directors only, right? Okay, now there are two things. In the heading itself, they have told about two things. What are the two things? One is appointment and the other one is appointment and qualification. Appointment and qualification of whom? This has to be done of the director, right? So we are going to learn about the director here, right? Now, first of all, the definition of a director. Who is a director? Director is any person who is appointed as a director to the board of directors of a company. What is this? This is the definition given by our law. Okay, but as per us, can I say director is such a person who is going to be a part of management of the company, who is going to handle things in the company, right? He is a person who is vested with some powers given by the board of directors of the company, and the powers to the board of directors will be given by the shareholders of the company, right? Now we have a company. We need someone to run the company. But we want to bifurcate between the ownership and the management of the company. The same concept that we did for demutualization in case of stock exchange, right? Same way here, we want to bifurcate the ownership as well as the management. So owners of the company are the shareholders, and managers means the management. Management includes whom? Management includes the directors, right? Fine. Now there are different type of directors. Can you list a few type of directors that you have heard? At least a few type of directors that you have heard. One is a executive director. Yes, one is the executive director. Other one will be a non-executive director. Done. Then any other type of director? There can be a managing director, right? Then there can be a whole-time director. Then there can be an independent director. Then there can be a woman director. Then there can be a small shareholders director. These are nothing but different types of directors, right? Okay, now let's take the basic example. What do you mean by the term executive director? Executive director is a director who is in employment of the company. He is not an independent person. He is not a professional person. He is not acting in a professional capacity just. He is in employment of the company. That particular director is known as an executive director. Normally, managing director comes under this category. Then the whole-time director comes under this category, right? Then, opposite of this, okay, first about whom did I discuss? I discussed about the executive director, right? Executive, where E stands for employment. Fine. So any director who is in employment of the company. The other one would be non-executive director, right? What do you mean by this non-executive director? Non-executive director means the director who are not in employment of the company, as simple as that, right? But these people, they are called as non-executive directors, okay? Example of this is, it can be like above, in the above point, the example was whole-time director. Now the example can be part-time directors, right? Then there can be some independent directors. They are totally non-executive directors. They are not in the employment of the company. Right? Then there can be some nominee directors, that is who are nominating someone else, or they have come on behalf of someone else. Those are nominee directors. These people are totally non-executive directors, right? Then we have something called as you told me woman director, we have independent director, we have small shareholders director. All these directors we are going to take up subsequently, right? So these two terms basically we had to understand, that is executive director as well as non-executive director. Fine. Okay. Now, is it necessary for a company to have board of directors? Just a question, just a general question. Is it necessary that a company should have board of directors? So the answer is yes, because board of directors forms part of the management, and so we to manage the particular business so that we can give the returns, we can make proper utilization of the money which is provided by the shareholders, and we can give them the returns, and we can make some good business. For that we need some management, right? And management is equal to board of directors. And in the board of directors we need some people who can who can work for the company. Who can work for the company means, can I say we need individuals in place of this? Right? Now, since we need individuals, can I say the board of directors, what do you mean by board of directors? Board of directors is nothing but a group of directors. Okay. So the board of directors should consist of what? Only individuals. No body corporate. We cannot say that so and so company is a director in our company. That cannot happen. Another company can be a shareholder in my company, but another company cannot be a director in my company. Right? Okay. So yes, every company should have a board of directors, and only individuals can be appointed as directors. Right? No company or firm or association or LLP etc. shall be appointed as directors. Right? Okay. So this is told by which section number? This basic thing that the company should have a board of directors. This is told by section number 149, which is the first section of the chapter. Right? Now, in company law, to the extent possible, we have to remember the section numbers. Right? In allied laws, even if you remember the important sections, the numbers, like say for example, we did this penalties in SEBI. So at that particular point of time, we remember section number 15F, section number 15G in case of penalties. Then we did in SECRA, we did something called as title of dividend to be paid to whom? Section number 27. So there are some sections which are to be remembered there, right? To the extent possible, you have to remember. But in company law, please try that you are able to remember each and every section number, right? Okay. Fine. Now, since after reading the section number 149, right? Yes, after reading section number 149, at least now we have come to know that the company should have board of directors, right? Now, how many directors should be there? Right? What is the minimum number of directors that you should have? What is the maximum number of directors that you can appoint, etc.? That we are going to, discover now. Okay, so that is going to come under section 149 subsection 1. First of all, what did section 149 say? 149 said that the company should have board of directors. 149(1) says how much should be the minimum and how much should be the maximum number of directors. Right? Okay. So now let's understand this. Now the points that I am writing here is applicable for every company. Okay? Everyone here. Now, they say that every company, everyone here on the board, okay, every company shall have directors as follows. Okay, every company shall have directors as follows. Now, this we are doing with section, we are doing section 149(1). Okay, now in that clause A, 149 subsection 1, clause A says that you should have so many minimum directors. Right? Similarly, section 149 subsection 1, clause B says you should have so many maximum number of directors. Understood the point? Okay. So now, how many minimum directors are we supposed to have? Now, if it is a public company, okay, if it is a public company, then it should have minimum 3 directors. If it is a private limited company, then we should have 2 minimum directors. And if it is a OPC, that is one person company. If one person company does not mean one director company, okay, one person company means one shareholder company. So in case of one person company, we should have 1 minimum director. Okay, so you can remember this as 3 to 1. 3 for a public company, 2 for a private company, and 1 for a OPC. Okay, these are what? These are the minimum number of directors that should be there in company. Right? Now let's go to maximum directors. How many maximum directors should we have? Yes, everyone here. How many maximum directors should we have? So this section says that we should have maximum how many directors? We should have maximum 15 directors on the board. Okay. Now, say for example, let's take an example of Reliance. Okay. Let's take an example of Reliance Communications or Reliance Jio, Reliance Industries, etc. Can I say these are large companies? Right? So now, can will the management be effective if we just have 15 directors in the company? So in some cases, yes, if everybody is whole time, then definitely we can work. But if some are part time, some are independent, some are nominee, then it becomes very difficult to handle such a big turnover just with the help of 15 directors. So in some cases, it can so happen that we will require more number of directors. If we require more number of directors, we'll have to go and check the provisions of the Companies Act. Now I went and checked the provisions of the Companies Act. There I came to know that I can appoint maximum how many number of directors? I can appoint maximum 15 directors. So now we'll have to find out some way by which we can appoint more than 50 number of directors. So now the Act has only provided a remedy for that. Okay. Now let's see what's that. At least clear till here? Yes? Okay. Let's go to the next one. Now there is a proviso. Proviso means exception. Okay. The first proviso to this section says that a company may appoint more than 15 directors also. A company may appoint more than 15 directors also, but for this purpose it is supposed to pass. It is supposed to pass what? It is supposed to pass a special resolution. Acha, means what about appointment up to 15 directors? Do you need to pass a special resolution? No. But if I want to appoint more than 15 directors, then in that case I will have to pass a special resolution. Right? Okay. Now there is a note coming. You can directly refer it from your book. Everyone on page number 1.2. Yes. Everyone on page number 1.2. Can you see a note coming up here? Yes. Check what is that note about. They are talking about a government company and a section 8 company. Section 8 company means as per the old act it was section number 25. Section 25 companies, right? Okay. So a government company and a section 8. Section 8 means non-profit companies or non-profit organizations. Section 8 company may have more than 15 directors without passing SR, provided such company has not committed any default in filing its financial statements with the ROC under section 137 or filing annual return under section 92. Okay, so now what they are telling, this exception is applicable only to whom? This exception is applicable only to a government company and to a section 8 company, that they can appoint more than 15 directors even without passing a special resolution, provided it is a non-defaulting company. What do you mean by non-defaulting company? Non-defaulting company means it has not defaulted under two sections. One is 137 and the other one is 92. Companies are required to submit annual return to the ROC. It should not have defaulted in filing that annual return. And next, the company is also supposed to file its financial statements with the ROC. So the company should not have defaulted in that also. If these two defaults are not attracted, then it can increase the number of directors beyond 15 even without passing a special resolution. Right? Okay. So remember this note. This is an important note. Okay. Now this was contained where? This was contained where? That company may appoint more than 15 directors. This was contained in the first proviso. Right? Now let's go to the next one. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Now we have a second proviso coming up here. Okay. Second proviso is talking about what? Check the heading of the second proviso. They are talking about the woman director. The entire second proviso. In the second proviso itself, we are going to study a type of director. Okay. Now, first of all, they are talking about a woman director. Woman director means, say for example, they have specified a few companies there. Okay. They have specified these few companies, and these few companies should appoint at least one lady, one female, one woman director, at least one woman director on its board. Right? Now, this is not applicable for every company. Okay. This is applicable for a specific class of company. We are going to see what is that particular class of company. Right? Now, whenever a new company is formed, okay, whenever a new company is formed, within 6 months, what did I say? Within 6 months from its incorporation, the company should comply with the provisions of this proviso. And what is the provision of this proviso? This proviso says that you should have at least one woman director on the board. And this should be complied within how much time? This should be complied within 6 months from the date of incorporation of the company. Right? Okay. Now, check which classes of companies are supposed to fulfill, or which classes of companies are supposed to follow this second proviso. Okay. Let's see that. Now, first of all, can you see here every listed company? Okay, you will see in the entire chapter all the provisions are at least applicable to a listed company. Forget about other companies, we are talking only about a listed company. right? So every listed company should have at least one woman director on the board. Next, every other public company means they're talking about unlisted company which has a paid up share capital of at least rupees 100 crore or having turnover of at least rupees 300 crore. Okay, and this 100 crore and 300 crore will be taken as on the last day, that is 31st March of the latest audited financial statement. Say for example, you have the audited financial statement for the last year. So last year, last day, whatever was your POSC or whatever was your turnover, that has to be taken into consideration.